last year when we were in the studio, we talked about great scenes from movies that we can admit are not very good.
We tried doing this again in the studio.
And the camera cut off on us after 5 minutes. So we're just going to talk about this in kind of like a more relaxed setting. And it's not going to be like structured or listed or anything. But we're just going to talk about some movies that have some genuinely memorable or good scenes. But we know for a fact, in our heart of hearts, they're not great. Last year we brought up stuff like Return of the Living Dead. We brought up Jeepers Creepers 2. The Fly 2. Basically ones that are never going to be considered classics. But they're fun enough. I guess we'll start with the first one that I can remember, which is 13 Ghosts.
Can I rely on you not to get me killed?
I guarantee nothing.
Yeah, I like 13 Ghosts.
If anybody has seen my 30-minute retrospective on William Castle, I hold 13 Ghosts in a pretty high regard. Not because it's good, but because it was just kind of amazing that this guy was just like, hey, use my goggles in my movie and they won't work for anything else. Whatever. I'm William Castle. But the remake did use the goggles as a plot device.
Yes.
Similar to the original movie. So I liked the design of some of the ghosts.
The design on a lot of the ghosts was amazing. Some of the practical effects were done really well. It was just, what bothered me about it is the story and just how kind of stupid it was.
That was the one with Matthew Lillard in it, right?
Yeah, that was the one with Shaggy in it.
Yeah. Oh my God, why couldn't that have been the crossover that we all got? It's like Scoob, it's the ghost of the prospector. It's like
But,
and then actually Shaggy gets cut in half by that door.
Yeah. Who knew that a door to capture ghosts would be so murderific?
At least that's sharp.
Yeah. My favorite moment from that movie in particular was the moment at the end where the big machine's going off to summon, I think it was hell they wanted to summon or something like that.
Yeah.
But they start, like summoning all the ghosts one by one, and the main character, the dude from Monk, by the way.
Oh yeah.
He's like counting them off as someone else like describes what they are. And for a lot of these ghosts, it was the first time you actually get to see like up close what they look like, without all the flash cuts of them being invisible and then visible and then invisible.
The hammer. The jackal.
I especially love the dude who had like the cage on his head.
The jackal.
The jackal.
I like that guy.
If you had the DVD and there's like a bonus feature on there where like you can go through and it gives you like the backstory of every ghost and like how they came to be and like what their deal was.
You see, why couldn't they do that in a movie?
That would have actually made the movie a lot better as if they had done that like sporadically. Throughout.
Yeah.
I think the only one they really touched on was his wife, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
like the one that they catch in the beginning.
Was it the Juggernaut?
I think the Juggernaut, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to take that seriously thinking of the Juggernaut after seeing Deadpool 2. Oh my God, Tony Shalhoub, run! I'm going to rip you in half now.
I am sick of this nanny shit. I've had it. This was not in the job description. I quit!
Have either of you seen Snoop Dogg's Hood of Horror?
No.
Nope.
I talked to God. He told me to tell all you guys, quit thanking him. He doesn't give a shit.
But it kind of reminds me of the idea that it's an anthology.
Yeah.
And like Tales from the Hood.
Kind of. It's kind of like Tales from the Hood. It's a little bit more campy and a little bit more... It's campier than Tales from the Hood.
That's pretty damn campy.
All right, very briefly, I'll explain this, like, just this one that started it off. There was a girl who was an artist at a high school. She, like, runs across a couple of thugs. And then Danny Trejo gives her a mystical tattoo. That...
Now, is he Machete?
He's not, but he's, like, a creepy, like, demon machete, kind of.
So he's Machete.
Kind of,
It's Machete after he dies.
Sure. But anyway, he gives her this tattoo where anytime she literally crosses out somebody's graffiti, that person who made it dies. And they die in, like, crazy, ridiculous, like Final Destination-y ways.
Okay.
Like one guy just like constantly has a gun in his pants, and it just goes off and shoots him, and he dies.
Ow.
Sounds very Death Note-y.
It is kind of Death Note-y, yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, yeah.
So wait, she just like goes over with like her own.
She has a spray can.
Oh,
She
okay.
sprays
Holy
over.
crap! That is Death Note.
Yeah, she literally like crosses out their name on the graffiti, and it kills them. And there's one guy who's like running away from somebody or running to somebody, and he's holding a 40 in his hand. And
Bro, put down the 40.
yeah, this guy didn't listen, and he trips and lands head first on the 40, and it goes through his head and out the top.
Brutal.
And it stops for a second, and then all the fizz and the bubbles in the 40 shoot out this geyser of blood out of the guy's head. And every time I watch that, I just go like, this is dumb as hell, but that is really cool.
Have either one of you seen the movie Virus?
No.
Never heard of it.
Okay. Russian military vessel has a beam of light beamed from outer space to the ship, and then somehow it becomes a alien computer virus that takes over the ship.
Like Transformers?
With more death and murder.
Like Transformers 2?
Yeah,
Alright.
without the hanging balls.
Oh. What's the point?
But pretty much a salvage group comes upon the boat and find out, oh, we can salvage this, make lots of money. Then they find out, oh, wait, it's overrun by a whole bunch of machines that want to murder everyone and take over the world.
Of course.
Thank you. It has a lot of like really good actors in it, like Jamie Lee Curtis.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And other people, but I can't remember names at the moment. Connection. Donald Sutherland!
Are you the dominant life form?
How can I be of assistance to you?
So there's a point where Donald Sutherland by himself decides to walk into like the main chamber of like where the machines are being built, and you get to see all these really cool practical effects of all of these robotic creatures just, you know, walking around and then slowly taking things over, including doing surgery on one of his crewmen.
Damn.
And like inserting a robotic spine into him.
Christ.
It's pretty amazing.
And then he starts talking to like this giant machine, which kind of looks like a transformer almost. And he's like, "Oh, I'm the captain. I can get you out of here. Just listen to me. They all listen to me. They all love me." And then the giant machine turns him into a giant robot.
You don't recognize me.
A giant robotic Donald Sutherland is in this movie,
Yeah,
and I've never seen this.
yeah.
Oh my god, this is like Hell Comes to Frogtown all over again. Like I'm gonna find out that this exists. I'm gonna watch it like 40 or 50 times, and it's all I'm gonna talk about for the next like 4 months.
It also has some comedy moments where they find out that the machines want the humans for what they title the crew member titles it as spare parts, and he decides to go batshit insane. Ends up shooting one of the creatures, blowing a hole in the wall, freaking out, and as one of the crew members describes as he went postal. And he just went off on his own to become Rambo.
Well, somebody's got to do it. I guess.
Yeah, someone's got to do it.
So speaking of robots killing people, have either of you guys seen Shopping Mall?
No, but I need to after you told me about it.
I feel like somebody else recently told me about that, and I saw the trailer, and I was watching it, and I'm like, this is something I need to see.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing can go wrong.
What was that?
That's the sound of us being locked in here all night.
Basically, it's a bunch of like teenagers get like stuck in a mall overnight, and the mall is overrun by all these like high-tech robots that just kind of roam the place.
Yes, this is what I'm
and they kill everybody in really hysterical ways, mostly involving lasers that they shoot from their eyes. They have like Barbara Crampton from the Reanimator series is in this, and she like falls down next to a canister of gasoline, and it shoots the gasoline, and she just burns to death right there. But it's like 80s burn to death, so it's clearly like a mannequin with a wig on it.
I remember you described the robots as like Daleks.
They were like Daleks. Like, they just roamed around. They had like no arms and legs, but they had appendages, and they had just giant heads that they shot lasers out of. They were Daleks. And the best moment in the film, and you can just look this up on your own because it's everywhere. A woman is running away screaming from the robot. The robot slowly like rolls up behind her as she's running. She turns around to face it, and the robot shoots one perfect laser into her head, and it friggin' explodes. Since I am a Scanners fan, I can't call it the best head explosion I've seen in a horror movie, but it's really, really fun. And the whole movie is just campy 80s batshit horror, and you can't like think about it for too long, or else your head's gonna explode like hers did. But it's the dumbest, funnest movie. Like it's one of those things where it's like you leave it going like that was dumb, but that was not a waste of time that I watched that movie. I'm glad that exists. That should be like preserved for historical purposes.
Back to remakes. House on a Haunted Hill. This movie had potential. It really did.
It had a decent cast.
It had a really good, it had a really good cast. And it started off really well. Like, it was legit scary in the beginning. Like, the entire idea that they have to stay in this place that used to be an insane asylum where they experimented on the patients. The whole idea of, it's like, once again, the story of bringing random strangers into this place. If you survive, you get money.
That's an original concept.
But that's the thing. Like, that was the plot of the House
that was the
on
plot
Haunted
of
Hill.
the original.
The original House on Haunted Hill had that, like, spend the night, get the money type thing. But everything else about it that makes it really interesting was not House on Haunted Hill.
No.
Make it its own movie. Like, do your own thing.
Like I said, the beginning of it, though, started off really good because it had some legitimate, terrifying moments. Like the part of the very beginning, I think she's like a reporter, or I think in this case she was a blogger. Shows how old it is.
90s. She works on that there internet thing.
Yeah. Her name was Melissa, and while all the other people are discussing, what's going on, this because the house decided to go into full lockdown mode. While all the people are arguing, she's just going around exploring the house with this thing recording everything she sees. And then she somehow winds up in the basement. For no reason, just walks down into the basement. Why not? Why not? And the first thing she sees is like what was some of the experiments that the doctor had performed there. And then she keeps following the camera, and then she looks into this room. But first you don't see anything in the room until the focus is on the camera, where you see a doctor performing surgery on a patient, and people are watching, are standing around. Nurses are recording this on like an old-fashioned recording device, and then it gets to the point where like you can hear him speaking, but it's coming through the camera, and then they all stop and turn towards Melissa. Like, literally, like, but it's through the viewfinder.
I just got chills a bit, like, having you explain it. Like, that's
good.
That's good.
And then she pulls it down and looks, and there's no one there. And then she pulls it back up, and they're all still staring at her. And then she gets murdered by something that just comes out of nowhere.
Of course.
This perfectly terrifying moment is destroyed by something waddling up and going blah, 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 blah.
I'm going to look at the video after this, and I really hope that's an accurate description of how the monster behaves. Just goes blah, 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 and then she's dead. Blah,
Blah, blah, blah. Like, there's another really cool moment in the movie where the guy who invites them all there, I forget his name.
It's Jeffrey Rush, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Jeffrey Rush. He brings them all there, and he's installed a security guard there to like watch over everything and try to make it spooky. He finds that guy dead, the security guard dead, and then he's looking through the cameras of like, what could have done this? And then he sees a moment of the old doctor in black and white on the screen, walking up the stairs with a butcher's knife. For some reason, the doctor's using a butcher's knife.
He ran out of scalpels.
Yeah, and then he just looks up at the screen, and then he walks towards that direction.
Nice.
If they stuck with that for this movie, it would have been a great movie. But they don't. Cloud monster.
Cloud monster.
Blah, 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 blah.
Can I just bring up how that movie about seeing ghosts through a viewer is better than the 13 Ghosts, where the plot of it is that they're seeing ghosts through a ghost viewer? You mixed up your movies, Dark Castle. You mixed up your movies.
You fucked up.
All right. I think we'll end with this one because I know for a fact that like we have seen this one.
Yes.
I've seen this one, which is a big thing.
Yes.
It's called Ghost Ship.
Bon voyage.
I don't remember much about this movie.
Except one scene.
We all remember the beginning
I think we all
part.
remember the beginning, and nobody remembers anything that happened after that because it's not as good as the beginning.
And
it
I
doesn't
saw
matter.
it in theaters. And this, I went with my mom and my brother, and I remember
God.
this scene. Like everyone in the theater went for it, and then it was just like.
I would have actually preferred it if after that they had just had like 45 minutes of just the screenwriter just crossing out screen like scenes that he was doing, and it's just like not as good, not as good, not as good.
Nope.
Go get some popcorn or something. Not as good, not as good. All right, so the movie starts on basically like a luxury. I don't want to say cruise ship, but it's like a party ship.
A luxury yacht.
Yeah, like it's like a luxury yacht where they have like all these like high class people dancing all on the deck. They're all on the same deck. Everybody who works on the ship,
everyone who's there on the ship is on the deck,
and they're all just kind of enjoying themselves. There's like I think like I'd say like 50 or 60 adults and one child.
Yep.
And they all start to dancing, and something goes wrong where a wire snaps on the ship, and the wire goes from one end of the deck to the other in a straight line really quickly.
And very red as it comes out.
And it goes through everything.
And everyone.
And everyone.
Literally, it's just a moment of, there's like a pause, and then I think it's like a champagne glass breaks.
Yes.
And then everyone like
and then
kind of
everyone
slides off.
slowly like falls apart.
And everyone's like, my hand was under the wire, and their hand gets cut off. And like, my favorite thing about that is that there are people who had like, I think there was one person who had like wrist jewelry in their hand got cut off and the jewelry hit the ground. Like I thought it was just really creative how they did it. And I like how they basically accommodated for everybody's difference in height.
Yep.
So it wasn't like an old movie where they would have been like, everybody's cut directly in the stomach. No, like they had people cut like on the chest, on the stomach, on the legs. It was really crazy, and everybody bleeds out.
I still love my favorite part is like the little girl who's short enough that the wire doesn't cut her.
Just short enough.
Yeah. Like some of her hair comes off. She looks up at I think it was like the captain she was dancing with.
Yeah.
And you just see the captain's head just come off.
Yeah. Like, what a crazy way to start your movie.
Yeah.
And not only because when you hear the word ghost ship and you think to yourself, well, all of these people died on this ship, you expect the ship to crash.
Yeah.
But this is just a ship where some really horrible shit happened, and then it just kept floating.
Just kept going.
Just kept going.
And not to Manhattan either.
No. Didn't make it.
Didn't have time to pick up Jason.
I understood that reference. All right, so I have a feeling that this isn't the last time we'll talk about this, but I like the idea of just kind of like making this like a round table instead of a list for these type of things.
We were supposed to have a round table?
We don't have a table.
There's literally no furniture in my apartment, so we did this in chairs.
So
In an office.
next time, round table.
Next time, a round table at an actual round table.
With snacks.
I'll get some snacks. Next time we go back to the movies and we take a look at my favorite Guillermo del Toro movie.
This is still going on?
Yes. Yes, it is.